Okay, fitting data with a quadratic function. What is the quadratic equation of the following table? So they're going to give you a table and you really only need 3 points to do this process, but you want to make sure that one of those points is the y-intercept. So that's where x equals 0. So I'm going to use a point above and a point below that. So I'm going to, for my work, I'm going to choose to do -1, 0, and 0, 6, and 1/16. Now the first thing you want to do is find what we call the second difference. So you actually, from 0 to 6, you're adding 6, and from 6 to 16, you're adding 10. That's the first difference. The second difference is what goes on between these two. From 6 to 10, you are adding 4. So the quadratic parent function is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So I'm going to make a list with a, b, c, x, and y, because those are the components in my equation. Now how to find a, let me come over here. A is the second difference divided by 2. So my second difference for this equation was a 4, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. B we don't know right away. C is the y-intercept. That is the number when x equals 0. So that's why I said we wanted to have x is 0 as one of our points. So the number with that is 6, so that's C. Now for x and y, you choose any point. Don't choose the y-intercept because you've already used that. So I'm just going to choose the one with positive numbers. So I'm going to do 1 and 16. So now you have everything except b, but we can do that algebraically. So I'm going to plug all of my information that I do know into the standard form of the quadratic function. So y is 16 equals, I said a was 2, x is 1, I square it, plus b we don't know, x is 1, and then c I said was a positive 6. So I get 16 equals, okay, 1 times 1 is 1, so 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1b plus 6, or 16 equals b plus 8, because 2 plus 6 is 8. I subtract 8 from both sides, so b is equal to 8. So now I have all the information I need to make my answer. Y and x stay in your answer, so you're literally plugging in a, b, and c. So y equals 2x squared plus 8x plus 6. And that is the equation from this table. Okay, which one of these is the solutions of the quadratic function? A solution is where y equals 0. So I actually have 2 solutions here. I have -3 and where y equals 0 right here. Another name for that is your x-intercepts. So the x-intercepts are the solutions. So I have 2 of them, -3 and -1. Okay, when I'm going to value f of -3, I notice -3 is not on this table. So my first step is to actually find the equation that goes with this table. So again, I want the y-intercept where x equals 0, and I'm going to focus on the number just above that and below that. So I'm going to focus on this table that says -1, -2, 0, -9, and 1, -6. So my first difference from -2 to -9 is subtracting 7. And from -9 to -6, that one's getting closer to 0, so that's adding 3. So subtracting 7 because you're getting further away from 0, so that's subtraction. and this is getting closer to 0, so that's adding 3. That's the first difference. The second difference, from negative 7 to positive 3, well, you got to be careful with this because from negative 7 to 0 is 7 units, and from 0 to 3 is 3 units, so this is adding 10. So my second difference is 10. So again, I'm looking for A, B, C, X, and Y. And the standard form is Y equals AX squared plus BX plus C. Okay, so A is the second difference, 10, divided by 2, so that is 5. C is the y-intercept. In this case, it's a negative 9. I'm going to choose, I don't want to choose my y-intercepts. I'll just choose the one that has the least amount of negatives. So my x value is 1, my y value is negative 6. I plug everything I know into the standard form. So y is negative 6 equals A is 5, x squared, 1 squared, plus b times 1 minus 9. So negative 6 equals 1 times 1 is 1 times 5 is 5 plus b minus 9. So negative 6 equals b. 5 minus 9 is negative 4. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So negative 2 equals b. So that gives me the equation y equals A is 5, 5x squared plus, actually it's not going to be a plus because b was negative 2. So it's going to be minus 2x minus 9. That's my equation, and if it had asked me for the equation, I would be done. But it didn't. It asked you for f of negative 3. In other words, they want to know what you get when the x value is negative 3. So now you take your equation that you came up with, y equals 5x squared minus 2x minus 9, and this time you plug a negative 3 in for x, so we're solving for y. So 5 parentheses negative 3 squared minus 2 parentheses negative 3 minus 9. Okay, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, positive 9. 5 times 9 is 45. And then this one, negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. And then minus 9. So that equals 42. So your answer, f of negative 3 equals 42.